Hello everybody. I'm International Master Andrei Ostrovsky, and well, I decided to play some blitz games on lichess, and a good idea just to stream it, right? To share my experience, to tell you something new, probably. So it is the first time when I do this actually on lichess. On lichess TV. I think in a few moments, it will be possible also to follow this stream from lichess directly, but we'll see. Okay, anyway, I'm going to start playing blitz, so let's make a random challenge and just see. Let's just see how it works, right? So there are a lot of players in line. I think it will pair me quite quickly. But if not, then we will try to discuss some interesting things. So for those who don't know me, I'm a good international master with one GM norm already. So I'm going to become a GM this year, right? A good idea to become stronger. And I'm also the host of live shows on Chess24. I do broadcasts, live broadcasts every week, every Tuesday with the Training Tuesday show, and every Friday with the late Friday night Barter Blitz. Okay, so in this game we have Rui Lopez. Let's see what my opponent wants to do to take on c6 or continue with the classic bishop a4. Okay, knight f6, castles, bishop e7. Now what? Rook to e1 should be played, but no, d4 immediately. Also playable line. A tricky one, to be honest. Okay, rook to e1. Now I think I can castle. After e5, of course, it will be not very good looking position, but I do believe that it will be probably not for a long time. Okay, knight takes here. Now I think I have to take as well. And here I have a chance to undermine the e5 pawn, and I have to do this immediately, otherwise I just don't have enough space to play. So I think d6 is just a normal move here. E takes d6, and now can I play bishop f6, intermediate move, but maybe I don't need it, right? Why not to take on d6 simply? Improving the position of this ugly knight. Now I want to improve the position of my bishop. It occupies very good diagonal. So it exerts some pressure on b2 pawn, and at the same time limits the activity of the bishop c1. Okay, so queen f4. Now what white wants to do in general, maybe to play c5, something like that, but d4 is very weak at the same time. So maybe I have a chance to occupy it with the knight, something like knight f5 and knight d4. I don't really know if it is a good idea right now. Bishop e6 looks natural. Let's just develop the bishop, attacking the pawn c4 at the same time. So it is a 3 minutes blitz. I have to be faster, of course. So now let's do this knight to f5. As I said before, going to d4 might be a good idea for me. Can I do this like queen d4? Not sure. Bishop d4, also interesting. Maybe just to take this knight on c3 and then to play queen d5, but then rook to e5. Not sure if all this makes sense. Let's try queen d4. So if queen takes queen, I will be happy. So then bishop takes d4, but rook e4, yeah, very good move probably. But the point here that this square could be a good one for the knight. Now it is engaged, so maybe I achieved something, maybe not. So let's now take on c3. Pawn takes, I can take with the queen. Alright. Yeah, I can take with the queen. I can also do just like rook d8 first, activating the rook. 38 seconds only. I have definitely to shape up to be faster. I played slowly. That's a bad idea. For such a blitz experience, right? Bishop d5. Now what? I have a good bishop, but probably it's not a big problem for white, because white has a lot of extra time. That is my main problem. Okay, let's protect the pawn. It was hanging. With bishop h7, I take on h7, and well, my g7 pawn is no longer pinned. That's the point. So he can't take the queen per bono. That's very good. But I have a feeling I will just lose on time here. So only 24 seconds. That is not too much, right? In such a complicated position. So okay, if queen goes away, then where it goes? Interesting question. d4 is hanging at the moment. If queen f3, I just take it. Okay. My rook is very good now. Yeah, that was a mistake, but I simply have no time. Pawn, come back. Oops, that was another mistake, but okay. Oops. I won. Okay, so very interesting game. Very interesting game. Of course, I did a lot of mistakes in the very end, closer to the end, I mean, because of the lack of time. So probably I have to be faster. Okay, opponent wants to play a new game. Let's try it. Why not? Because I saw what he plays when with white pieces. Let's see what is going on when he's black. Okay, Scandinavian. In my opinion, just a dubious opening, but well, many players prefer it, and maybe it is not a bad choice for, I don't know, just a blitz, right? Because, well, there is needed a very concrete knowledge to play it correctly with white, I mean, to achieve the opening advantage. So I usually like to play like this. Bishop d2, then castles. It looks very interesting. So white at least has the initiative, in my opinion. Yeah, I just castle. So taking on d4 is probably playable for black, but very dangerous. But I think my opponent will just grab it, yeah. Okay, so let's see. What do I have here? Knight takes d7, I think, is a move. And then my bishop d2 jumps somewhere, but maybe there is nothing serious with that. Maybe there is nothing dangerous for black. Let's say bishop to where? To e3. Let's check this square. Now let's say g4, attacking his bishop. He's still not castled. And what about f4, f5? This should be a good idea for white, I think. I don't even need to calculate it because it's obviously very good for white. Yeah, so if pawn takes, then e-file becomes open. Yeah, if bishop takes, then come on. I'm a minor piece up. That should be just great. And two bishops, right? Pair of bishops, position is open. It should be just huge. So, to take on d7, or just to play queen f3, or queen f2, there are so many different ways to win this game, I think. Let's try queen to f2, just attacking f7, and preparing something like, I don't know, bishop to d4, or even a7 is possible to capture. Oh, so many different opportunities. I don't even know which one will be better. Let's try bishop d4. Sort of natural central move. King b1 now, the knight on f6 is under attack. This move weakens g7, so I can attack the queen and pawn g7 simultaneously. So now it's a problem to protect it properly. I don't know, knight g4. No, it doesn't look like a good idea. And now g7 should drop. I think I can easily take it, but first I want to control g4 square. Because after rook g7 it was possible for him to play something like knight g4. Now it's not possible, so I just take on g7. And he has only 2 pawns to compensate the missing minor piece. No castling still. No. It can't be good for black. It should be completely lost. The only problem is, again, maybe the time. But I had a lot of time, if compared to the previous game. So I have 1 minute. Knight e4 helps me to restrict the knight g8. At the same time, my knight becomes active the own way. Oh wow, what's that? It gives me a chance to do this move. And then, how to checkmate him? Knight to g5, I guess. Yeah, attacking e6. He more or less has to take, so let's remove it. Yeah, h6. Well, I'm not against going back a bit, because there is another opportunity. So let's do this check. One more check. Let's prevent all sort of threats on the back rank. Well, those are non-existent threats, of course, but still could have been a bit annoying. Now I just, yeah, enormous advantage. It's time to resign, my friend. I think it's over. Everything is heading no perpetual. I mean, everything is heading in black's camp. Come on, what's that? Oh, it wasn't necessary, right, to simplify a position this way, but okay. Even this should be winning. I don't know. Let's spin it. Oh, it's not a checkmate, unfortunately. Come on. Let's take all his pawns. Okay. I could have checkmated him immediately on f8 and so on. So, I think that taking on d4 was just dubious, right? So, I achieved really great initiative at the price of only 1 pawn. so it's not a price for such a great position, I guess. But of course, I don't remember the theory. So maybe queen takes d4 was just completely playable. Anyways, thanks for the games. Let's go to the lobby and see what is going on here. Oh, as I can see, the link to my stream appeared here in lichess. Very nice. So let's see how it looks like just for a while. Just to understand. Okay, so here is the stream. There are some things, but no options to comment it. Okay, so I saw some Twitch streams here. Actually, guys were able to comment exactly on lichess, but okay, never mind. Okay, let's see what is going on. So as I said, I'm a host of 2 weekly shows on Chess24. One of them is a premium show, so for premium members only, and another one which will be also today a bit later, so at 10 p.m. European time, Central European time, I mean. It is free for everybody, so everybody can watch it, but again, only premium members can play. So you're welcome, by the way. I'm also a chess coach, so I have a YouTube channel. There are a lot of instructive chess videos. So as for streaming, I just started doing it. So my primary goal is to share my experience, to teach other guys something new, to help others improving their chess and so on. But I also realized that streaming some blitz can be instructive, right? If it is commented correctly. Especially it is about my Chess24 show, so there I'm definitely focused on providing instructive information, right? So rather than just focusing on playing and something like that. But okay, let's come back to this game. So it is just a French defense, right? Quite popular variation. I'm not sure that bishop e3 is the best move here. Bishop g5 was also an interesting try for me. Well, let's see how it works, because if black takes on d4, I could take with the bishop. That's my idea. What about this position? I don't know, knight g5 is a move. Attacking h7 directly. Bishop g5 once again looks very interesting. Just attacking the knight and h7 will be hanging. And if he plays something like h6, I can play h4 if I want. Taking on c5 can be an interesting simplification, but I'm not sure if I achieve something there. Bishop e4, okay, rook, just bishop e7, or knight takes e4, then bishop b7, there is nothing, I think. So let's try this, knight g5. Can I just play bishop h7 here and then h4? Let's see if I can. D takes c5 now, or just h4. Let's try h4. It looks a bit dubious, of course, because everything is hanging here, but it doesn't look like he can capture anything, so I can afford it. Just for now. Let's go away with the king. I think he wants to do something like bishop f4 at some point, and having the king on the light square from this point of view might be a good idea for white. So just a prophylaxis, right? Oh, I dropped the pawn. Didn't even see that. So it looks like I'm not in a good shape, right? Okay, let's attack the guy. But this drops everything, so he can now even take on g5. Yeah, this looks awful. Simply awful. It was better for me probably just to go away with the bishop from h7 somewhere. But okay. He played bishop d5. Now definitely knight on g5 is hitting. I have to do something with them. I mean with the knight and with the bishop. But I can't see a normal way to do that. So let's attack. c4. Takes with the rook. Position becomes really messy. Everything is hanging. Everywhere. It can't be correct. It can't be correct for white, I think. Okay, let's take this. So queen takes, bishop takes. At least my bishop came back. And I will definitely have some initiative, I think, if he takes my rook and then takes my knight. Pair of bishops, okay, I am in exchange down, but can be interesting. So bishop d4, let's say h takes g5, h takes g5, then knight takes d5, rook goes to h1 check. Oh, he doesn't take. Okay, that is a portion of good news for me. So now I want to play e7 if he allows me. If he takes on e6, I just take with the knight on e6. Yeah, and here I just have extra minor piece for nothing. Very good. Oh, that was unnecessary, but probably it will help me to simplify position a bit, which can be good, because now I have absolutely winning endgame, I think. Should be absolutely winning, of course. Yeah, and just waiting a bit. Yeah, pawn drops, after which everything is simple, but there is a question of time, of course. At least a draw now. And a checkmate. Quite quickly, by the way, so I did all the moves automatically. I didn't intend to make this that quick, but well, lucky me. Okay, let's play one more. Let's play one more with the Danny Road. Oh, I have a feeling that I played this guy on chess.com many times. Well, at least the guy with the same nickname. Maybe it's just a feeling. Maybe it's just a play of my memory. Sometimes my memory just sets me up. So everything could be possible. Okay, Danny Road, where are you? What's going on? Are you going to play? We are all waiting for you. Come on. Well, at least there is a time to make a sip of coffee. From my favorite Master Yoda mug. Come on. Doesn't look like he's going to play, right? So let's abort this and try to find a new opponent. So actually, everything goes more or less fine in the sense of the results, but the quality is not cool. Okay, Danny Rod is here, so I'm again paired with him. Let's do it. So, what he's gonna play? Italian, very solid choice usually. Oh, but he plays d4 instead of d3. So here, I think I have a possibility to grab this pawn. It is an old line which became quite popular nowadays. So here there are two options: to play d5 and to play a bit more solid king to f8. The point is that he has to take on b4, after which I play queen e7 and he has to take on e7, and we have, in my opinion, very good endgame for black. So rook e1 is a threat, right? How it is played usually? King goes to d8 first of all, as far as I remember. Yes. Now the knight goes back to f6. And if knight goes to g5 or e5, my rook simply goes to f8, and everything is prevented. Okay. So now d6 immediately gives him a chance to play knight e6 and grabbing my bishop. But what is this endgame all about is probably having the bishop against the knight, long-term advantage, something like that. So h6 was kind of good idea prior to doing anything else. Now what? I don't want to exchange my knights. I mean this knight, right, my knight f6 could be useful. So I'll just, yeah, make this strange move. At the moment it looks very strange, right? So it looks like I play like an idiot. In fact, I just need some time to complete the development, after which I do believe my position will become much better. And will look better, believe me, because I have a better pawn structure here on the queen side. Okay, the only problem is, of course, e6 square. But what about d5 pawn? Can I just attack it immediately with rook to f5? Or maybe just going back with the knight. Okay, going back with the knight leads to exchange of the knights. Now a4 is also an interesting move to attack it from the 5th rank. Let's try it. That's interesting. So rook to a5 now. Let's put the knight on f6. Okay, he grabs my bishop, but I think this pawn on e6 will be not that healthy. And in this case, well, I'm more or less satisfied with the pawn structure. So it became, in my opinion, just a bit better for black than it was. But the time is just a catastrophe. Okay. I definitely have to be faster somehow. Yeah, not that easy. For 30 seconds, I mean, black is definitely better because of the bishop and pair of these pawns, connected passed pawns. But it might be impossible to win having this low time. But position is, of course, absolutely winning. My pawns are just moving. So if he attacks my rook has a lot of squares to go away. e4 is also a pawn to capture. If knight goes away, let's say rook e1, let's say. If knight f1, rook e2, yeah, I've noticed this move. Also good idea, right? Oh, come on, takes c3. Probably he'll take on d3. No. Check. Oops, I've blundered. That was a super hallucination. Oh my goodness. Yeah, now it's lost in time, of course. Yeah, it's lost in time. Yeah, lost in time. Okay, but I was, of course, absolutely winning, for example, here it was, yeah, necessary just to, well, there are a lot of ways leading to a win, I think, but yeah, here after knight f1, it was possible just to play bishop e4 immediately. So let's say bishop e4 immediately should be winning. By the way, instead of playing c4, there was also an interesting way just to take on g3, then to play c4, or to take on e4 first and then to play c4, so these pawns should just win, right? But it was necessary just to push them correctly in the correct order. But okay, let's play one more. That's an interesting opponent, right? So interesting encounters. So again, French defense takes here, knight here. I definitely remember this line. So actually, this c3 followed by this bishop d3 and so on is a good idea. But maybe bishop e3 immediately is a move. I don't remember. Let's check it. I mean, maybe I have a chance just to avoid playing this c3, just playing this way. Bishop d3, queen e2, and then castles. That should be also playable. If he takes e3, I take with the pawn. Now to do what? How to attack? Bishop h7, is it a move? Well, not, because knight is going to come back to f6 when I play knight g5, queen h5, right? But what about bishop e4? Will he play just f5? Maybe. What about c4? c4 is an interesting try. Let's do it. Yeah, my king is on c1. That's a pity. Otherwise, there would have been queen e4. But okay, bishop b7. I think I'm also fine here. So I exchange one of his bishops. He has light squared weaknesses, I think, and this is great for my knight long term. I don't think this bishop f4 is a good piece, so it has no real objects of attack. Another question is, well, what to do? g3, bishop goes to d6. Well, let's try this h4 first. Once the bishop goes away from f4, on this diagonal h6, c1, I could have played knight to g5. And h6 is probably a move that creates some hooks, right? So now I have a chance to play g5 and to open up files. Isn't it a good idea for me? Well, it looks like that. And queen f5, well, I can take, and now I have better pawns. But maybe he thinks that, well, his bishop will be better than my knight long term. I don't think so. So first of all, let's just, play this natural d5 with the idea of knight d4. Not immediately, but at some point. Might be good. What he's going to do. Probably rook to e8, trying to get to e4 or e2. In which case, what would I do? I'm not sure. Oh, I have also the idea of playing rook d4. That's interesting, because it might be an interesting idea when the bishop is here protecting h6. So what about rook d4 now? The bishop goes where? To d6, then I can take an h6. Let's check it. I think it's a good way of exert some pressure, because if he takes on g5 now, it will be just lost for him. And maybe instead of playing g takes h6 to start with the h5. So this looks very promising. Takes g5, take g6, take g6, knight takes g5. Yeah, this looks very interesting. So I just one of a sudden started the attack on the king side. But again, I have problems with the time. Come on, have to be faster. Okay. So let's focus. Takes. Isn't it really bad for him? I don't know. Oh. It's just lost, I think. Intermediate check. Takes here. Absolutely lost. So again, he plays on time. Right? Yeah. He tries to flag me. That is his strategy. Let's take that. Oh, come on, my friend. Just extra pawn and king and pawn endgame. Oh, he doesn't want to take it. What he's doing? It's not even funny, yeah. So it's absolutely winning. Yeah, an interesting idea in the end game. So I have a feeling that at the moment when I played d5, there was a critical situation. So instead of playing this g6, it was probably better to play rook e8 immediately, because in this case, if he plays rook e8 and I play rook d4, attacking the bishop, and if the bishop goes away, of course, I take on h6. That was a good idea for me to do this. But in this case, when the rook is on e8 and I play rook d4, he can parry it with the rook e4, and it's not a good idea for me to take on e4. In this case, he just takes with the pawn and improves his pawn structure. That's the point. So after rook e8, I should probably do something else. Okay, there is a challenge from Cole. And I have a feeling that I also played this guy on chess24. Well, that is definitely the guy I've played on chess24. Well, at least I definitely remember the guy with the same nickname. So, very nice that you are also here, Cole. g6, okay, bishop to e2, I usually play. Bishop g7, castles, or goes to e1. It's a calm version of dragon, which became quite popular nowadays. Bishop here, so bishop is going to take, I think, on b3, which I'm not against, actually. So if bishop takes, I take with the pawn. Of course, my pawns become bad, but at the same time, I have pair of bishops, which might be good. Queen c7. This gives me a chance just to play knight e5. So let's check knight e5, bishop d5, ed5. Knight goes to b4, attacking c2 and d5 pawns. In which case I can play c4, but I usually like playing c3 in such a situation, which is not possible in that case because the knight will attack d5. Okay, so let's start with the bishop g5 move, which exerts additional pressure on knight f6, which is also a defender of the d5 square, which might be good for me to exchange at some point. Maybe, I'm not sure. In many cases, white wants just to play knight d5 to open up the e file to have the pressure against e7. Knight b4, okay, this prevents knight d5 but gives me a square on d4, which I should use, of course, immediately. Exerting some pressure on the bishop, and after bishop c4, I think I can just take on c4 and then to play knight to b5, or maybe I can just wait. Yeah, I think I can wait here. Maybe he will take on b5 himself. So let's play something useful like queen d2. If he takes on b5, I take the knight c3, and then I will have c3 move. Let's make a couple of useful moves like h3 here. I'm just waiting a bit. That's the point. I want him to take on c4. Sorry, want him to take on b5, and I don't want to take on c4, improving his queen, for instance. Queen c5, exerting some pressure on my bishop. Maybe it's time to retreat to e3, I think. Or bishop h6. No, bishop h6 is not a move 100%. Yeah, let's try also. Well, my bishop will be hanging there, so bishop takes. If let's say if I take with the knight takes c2. Knight takes b5 is no longer a tempo move, so I definitely have to do something with the bishop. So let's put it on e3 for a while. Except for weakened b5 square, I achieved not much, honestly. If anything, at all. So maybe black is just a guy here. Well, queen c there will be possible to go away. if I start attacking it. I'm not sure. Okay, let's try this. Grabbing the space may be intended to play f5 at some point. After which queen will be definitely out of play. e5. Well, I don't know. Let's go away. d6 is now weak. Our position is extremely complicated, but I think my opponent just missed something here. So rook and d8 is hanging, but I have 19 seconds only, so it will be a very bad finish, I predict. Let's take it. Rook e7 looks very promising. So I don't know. Will he take on e7? Probably not. But now there is rook e8 or something. I can't see possibility to stop it, even this way. Yep. Should be absolutely winning. Where is my checkmate? Here is my checkmate, I think. On g7 and knight g5. Yep, that's it. Well, if queen takes g5, I take on g7 with a checkmate. Yeah, very nice game. Very nice game. I think something strange started when black decided to put the queen on h5 and then play d5. But maybe it was playable. I don't know. But it felt like something wrong a bit. Yeah, and in general, I don't like the idea of playing a5 against this line with black because it weakens b5 square for a long time, forever, honestly. And, well, after that, it is very hard for black to find an active play on the queen side because everything is fixed, right? Yeah, so queen side becomes frozen more or less, and once white manages to put knight c3 somewhere, it's a b5, and then to play c3, well, it's over. Okay, anyway, rated 3 now, God of Snooker. God of Snooker. Let's see if you are God of Chess as well. Well, d4, okay, I usually play knight f6. Let's do it, knight f3, e6. c4, b6, queen's Indian defense, so called. Knight c3, a hybrid variation. Very interesting one. But bishop to f4, usually bishop goes to g5. In my opinion, it is much more ambitious. Let's put the bishop on b4. Black does everything to control d5 and e4 squares with his pieces, mainly. So rather than occupying these squares with pawns, black wants to control them with pieces. Maybe at some point black will occupy the squares with pawns as well, but for now black saves the flexibilities. It is the point of doing this. In Queen's Indian defense, in Nimzo Indian, in almost every hyper modernist opening. Okay, so now there is a chance to fix the pawn on b2. I think it's a good idea for me to try it, because now at least white doesn't have this typical plan of grabbing the space like b4, c5 or something. So once white plays b4, I just take it en passant, and white will have nothing but this pawn on a3, which will be isolated and potentially weak. So now I castle. Let's say d6, controlling e5 square and preparing knight to d7. Just a very, very natural development of my pieces. Now what? Queen to e7 is a move Knight to e4 is a move. Let's try this one. It's interesting. So it's a good outpost for the knight. And I think there is also an interesting square for my rook. Now that it controls 5th rank, right? It can be transferred there sometimes. Maybe not, of course, immediately, but at some point. Let's say if he takes now on e4, in addition to bishop takes e4, I have also pawn takes e4. And that goes away somewhere, and my rook jumps to h5 or something like that. Yeah, it looks crazy, but it's playable, I think. Another idea behind having the rook on a5 is, of course, to control c5 square, because it's one of White's programmatic moves here, just to come up with this breakthrough, right? So now my rook simply controls c5. Okay, b4, I just take. No questions, it is a good exchange for me. Now we can see this pawn, it is a weakness, a real one, not a potential one. So what to do? There are a lot of different ways. Let's say g5, g4 looks very interesting, because there is an knight d2 idea. But I want to play a bit more positional chess. So queen e7, just preparing rook to a8, attacking this a3. Now it feels like this bishop f4 is somewhat out of play, right? Being limited with own pawns, mainly e3 pawn, and also my pawns like c7, d6. So it would be much better for white if this bishop could have occupied e1, a5 diagonal. In this case, my rook could have been kicked away from a5 first of all. Another idea could have been something like a4, a5, right? So white still can play a4, but it doesn't lead to a5 then. That's the difference. Okay, what now? To take on d2, and then what? And then let's say another piece goes to f6, just to replace the knight maybe, if white allows me to do that. If white plays f3, well, this weakens e3, this weakens g3, doesn't look good. I also have e5 at some point. I don't want to play it right now, even in a couple of moves, so I'm more of focused on attacking this pawn. So can I do this, or it's better for me to play something like knight e4 followed by g5? Don't think so. So instead, let's get here. This looks very natural. a3 is under attack. Oh, this drops c4. A very important pawn it was. Yeah, white has no compensation for this missing pawn now. My rook simply goes back. Let's say rook to d7. I think it's a good idea for me to just exchange as many pieces as possible. By the way, I could have captured the pawn on a3 already. But anyway, I'm not in a rush, because this position is absolutely winning for black. I have extra pawn. Yeah, my knight is much better than that bishop, and yeah, there is nothing to worry about. Oops, and takes the rook next move. Yeah, so not very ambitious play. White played quite passive variation, and allowed me to do everything I wanted to, especially to block the pawns there, to occupy e4 square. So this typical ideas behind name to Indian and Queen's Indian defense. So it is like, yeah, like what black usually dreams about. Okay, so let's see what is going on with other players. So play. And one more 3-minute blitz. Okay, 2494 Ali Sh or Ali SH. I don't know. Let's do it, my friends. Your turn to move. D4. Okay. And very self, or what is that? Yeah, very self. Okay. When I was a kid, I reacted to this with this knight e7. Maybe it's still a good idea for black to play. I don't know. So c5, e4. Is it really that great for whites? I'm not sure. Just anything serious. Let's say e3. Probably I could have achieved more somehow, I don't know. But even this looks okay. So queen is going to take on e3, right? I want to also complete my development, so let's try to do this way. It looks very dubious. So queen e3, bishop g7, and something like d6. Looks simply bad. Maybe it was better just to start with a g5. Yeah, but he castled first. This is of course a bit easier for me to mate, I think. I don't even know what's wrong with castling. So castling takes e7, queen takes e7, queen goes to d6. No, probably castles, takes e7, queen e7, knight to d5, then queen e5. Again, I can't see anything wrong with that, so let's castle, simply. Okay, let's take d6. Rook takes... Something is hanging here? I don't think so. Nothing is hanging here. So rook e8 looks like a natural move, but then queen f4, g5. Okay. Yeah, but queen goes to d2. That's true. Queen to a5 now. Bishop takes f6, knight takes f6. Everything is protected. Bishop to b5. Well, it starts looking a bit annoying, but I think I can do this. Interesting position. Can I take on b5? Yes, I can. He takes on g7, however. But a file is open now, and I have a threat of b4, right? Yeah. Cool. So b4. Let's put the knight here. I want to do this, of course. And also I want to just complete the development because my bishop is somewhat passive. Still doesn't take part in the game. And a2 pawn is hanging, so I can take it at some point. What's that? Queen f6, is it really a serious threat? Maybe. So let's play bishop e6. I wanted to take an a2, but queen f6 was annoying, so I guess bishop e6 is better. Now what? Let's try this. Knight to c4. Oh, he can take an e6 now. That's a problem. That's what I have missed. But maybe I have some play still. Should be not so easy for him now. Maybe I just overestimate my position. Yeah, I have no time here at all, so it should be an easy win for him. Taking this into account. Oops, another blunder. Yeah, it's lost now. It's lost. Okay, yeah, that was an interesting encounter. I think I was very good at some point, but then, yeah, I just confused things, mixed up something. Okay, Probably in the very end. Yeah, so had a good position. Don't know. Okay, what the shit is that? I'm going just to grab the bishop. I don't think that it is a good way for black to play. I mean, to give up a very, very good dark squared bishop so early in the game. So what black achieved, I don't know. I think nothing. Let's just complete the development. Put our pieces on good positions. And my plan should be the attack on the queen side. Somehow. My knight from c4 can go to e3 at some point, I think. For example, here e3 becomes really critical. So my opponent probably wants to play e3 next move, so maybe queen c1 should be played just to overprotect this point, and maybe just to occupy it finally. So I have good blockading potential here, I think. Yeah, so now e3 again is a threat, so let's put the knight here. Now it's really good for white. I have a better pawn structure now. So he wants to take on e3 and then to play knight to d5, right? Let's prevent it. Knight to g6 was also an idea. Yeah, missed that. Okay, maybe I have a chance to play d5, attacking the queen. No, it doesn't look good at the moment. To take on f5. Queen takes f5, so what? There is nothing. Knight to d5. Just taking g4. There are a lot of opportunities. I don't want to simply go away with the rook, because in this case he plays h4. This might be not very pleasant, but I don't feel like I have anything better than that. Not sure. Maybe just to leave that rook hanging there. I don't know, that's crazy. That's a bit crazy. Well, let's check. Maybe there is something. Maybe I can just push my pawns quickly, like d5, c5, and to see what is going on. And again, I'm done on time. So by the way, this episode was called something like 2700, backtest of 2700. It is not even close. I'm in a very bad shape, honestly. Yeah. Something is wrong with white's position, for sure. I have a feeling. Now he's going just to play h4, I think. He shouldn't be worse. At very least. Coffee. But it doesn't help, I think. But he's like thinking a lot, right? That's cool. I don't know, maybe he's somehow disconnected. It's very strange. So I'm a bit happy. I'm a bit lucky. Yeah, because if he just plays h4 here, I don't know what to do really. So if my bishop goes to h2, he can take it, which is not cool for white. If I take on g4 first, well, then he can also take on g4 and I achieved nothing with this capture. If I take an f5, then he takes on g3. Even rook on h1 is hanging, so looks just awful. So yeah, it looks like I won on time. Sorry, won on disconnection. That is the reason. Yeah, very, very strange. Very strange game. So, I don't know where I made a mistake. That is an interesting question. So, everything was just fine here, right? c3, bishop f5, bishop e2, knight e2, knight c4. Everything was okay. Now, h4. Maybe h4 was too much. I don't know. Maybe just simple h3 was a bit better than that. But h4 looks also good. Knight here, queen to c1. Yeah, maybe queen to c1 wasn't necessary. Something like knight to e3 immediately could be a move. So he takes, then I take with the pawn. Again, I have very good blockading position. At very least, I can castle long if something went wrong. If something goes wrong with the king side, right? So knight e3 is something that white definitely could have played here. Because after queen c1, then I felt my queen was a bit misplaced there. So it's better to have the queen here to be able to jump to a4 at some point to attack some things in my opponent's camp. So maybe knight e3 immediately. Also, it should have been considered just to take on g5. So maybe this is a move here. I just take the pawn, right? And well, he plays e3, of course. But maybe there is nothing. So maybe I just can play f3 then. And well, I has to prove that he has anything. Okay, so there is a challenge from John Capone. Casual 5+3. No, it's too much, too long. I usually prefer 3 or 5 without increment. So let's play one more or two more. Let's see. So we do already around 1 hour, which is not that bad for the second episode of Learn from Chess Blitz, but it is for the first time that I'm on lichess.org TV, which is cool. So e4, my opponent is not going to make a move, or he's just thinking, because it's possible to think for free. Your clock simply doesn't start until the first move, but I don't think it is a good idea to spend the time this way. Okay, come on, play e4, please. I mean e5, maybe. Come on, something strange. Oh, John Capone challenged me with 3+0. Okay, so I abort this game because my opponent is not going to play, and let's play John Capone. So it looks like John Capone follows the stream, which is very nice. Thanks a lot. So e4, it's your move, c5. Okay, Sicilian. What do we have here? Dragon or Sveshnikov? No, e6. So now I can transpose. Sveshnikov after knight b5 because d6 is kind of best move for black. Otherwise, I just occupy this d6 square. Now I play bishop f4, forcing e5. Because after knight e5, it will be almost impossible to save the material after queen d4. So e5 and bishop g5. So we actually have a transposition to Sveshnikov. Or I usually play knight a3. And then I'll take on f6. So b5 now should be played. Yeah, now knight goes to d5. Bishop e7 and bishop takes on f6. Main idea of this opening setup for white, to give up a bishop but to have this great knight on d5. And here the main move is c3, but I prefer playing c4. Also the line that became quite popular nowadays. It was considered a stupid move when Sveshnikov first arose on the top scene. But now it's considered a good continuation for white, so many top players prefer it to c3. Okay, knight e4, I can take on b5, of course. So, what black will do? Bishop g5, or I don't know, castling, also thematic move here, yeah. So black plays in a gambit style, but I usually don't want to give my opponent a lot of activity, so that I prefer just to calm down everything. Yeah, so bishop c4 is okay. If bishop takes d5, I take with the bishop with the tempo, so the rook will be hanging on a8, which means there will be a time for me to play knight c4 in that line. Now there is no time when black takes on d5, but I still prefer my position after all, so black definitely can regain the pawn, but it doesn't feel like all the problems are solved after that, because I still have better pawn structure and a better bishop, I think, because my bishop will be just a monster on d5 if compared to this passive guy on f6. Right. Okay, now what? Bishop will probably go to g5 at some point. Maybe it's a good idea for me to prepare for this. Let's say g3. Now if nothing happens, I can even play h4, just restricting the bishop. For example, in this line, why not? Maybe I can even continue with the h5 at some point. So I think black has to take on d5 at some point. It's very hard to find a good move when the knight is still on the board. So it's like a monster. Okay, h5, let's say queen d3, also the move that improves my position. Now a6 is under attack. Bishop c4 is protected. e4 is protected, so maybe I even start thinking of playing knight c7. Yeah. Okay. Oh, queen b6 should have been played. Now I can play b7 or knight c4. Both look like winning continuations. Let's do knight c4, just improving the knight, protecting the pawn simply. Yeah, should be absolutely winning for white. Okay, let's try, I don't even know, a4, restricting the queen a bit, so controlling b5. Okay, let's do rook to c1. No, rook to c1 drops this. Maybe it's time just to play f4 to open up the f file, but this is a bit risky. So instead, let's put the pawn on b7, a bit closer to the square of promotion. Now rook f8, too passive, I think. And now knight to b6. Queen to g4, but there is nothing. I think after f3, the queen is even trapped. Yeah, nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Yeah, it's lost, absolutely. Okay. Let's have a look. Some challenges from Ostrovsky fan. Wow. Chess is the best 2000 Gribelnikov. Let's play Ostrovsky fan. That's interesting. It's a provisional rating, but still. Who's that? Quite interesting. Okay. d5. French defense. Take c4. Yeah, so probably bishop d3 the main move here. I don't remember, honestly. I just don't remember. Should be just a Kai. Castles. Now what? Bishop to g5. Yeah, bishop to g5 looks natural. So I just prepare castling long. If black plays something like h6, I have h4. Just exert pressure there. Knight e5, maybe still h4 is a good idea for me. If bishop takes, I take with the pawn. That looks like a devastating position after that, so black will probably avoid that. h6 is not a real threat, I think, of taking on g5. But who knows? Maybe it is already a threat, but at the same time it is a hook, right? So I can take on e7, queen e7, and g4, g5. Then can be a move. a3, preventing knight at b4 might be also an idea for me. Queen e4 leads to f5. Okay, maybe just bishop to d2. Bishop to d2 is also a good idea. Just retreating the bishop a bit, but my bishop actually played his role here, because it provoked black to play h6. So this h6 can be attacked by g4, g5, right? Okay. Yeah, I like my position. It looks very decent. I definitely have a great attacking chances on the king side. Okay. c5. Well. What is that? I'll probably just grab on c5, because it opens up the d file. And after castling long, it might be a great problem for black. So it's an additional attacking factor. That's what I mean. B takes c5. So now what? Just g4. Looks good. Oh. Now queen e4 looks interesting, because if knight f6, then I take on a8. If f5, then I take on f5. Who knows? What about just starting with the c4 move? c4 looks also good. Where the knight goes, if it goes anywhere at all. Yeah, got it. Yeah, probably c4 was too much. Yeah, now position looks a bit exposed, right? A lot of weaknesses here around my king, dark squared weaknesses, and it looks like after knight b4, I'll be more or less forced to take on b4, but maybe I will have just bishop to b1. But this also looks quite devious. Yeah. This is like too much, I think. I can just take on d5. Oh, queen. Come on. The queen drops. Okay, so another interesting encounter. A lot of challenges, by the way. A lot of challenges right now. Let's see, candidate master Victor Sayayin or Sayajin, something like that, right? International master Rabran. Let's play the international master Rabran. That's interesting. And it will be probably my last encounter today, my last opponent for this episode. So I'm going to make this more or less regular. So I'm not sure which day, so I want to pick up a concrete day for this show. Not sure which one. Maybe it will be just, yeah, every week, but the day will be like a surprising choice. Okay, b3, b6. Something very, very typical for this opening setup. So both sides try to fianchetto the bishops. I don't remember here taking on c4 is a good idea or a move later, but the point is to have this pawn structure. Now just to play c5 maybe. If white ever plays d4, I just take it. And well, white does also something very typical, so queen will go to e2. I predict the rook to d1, then knight to e1 at some point, and so on. Okay, a3, knight to c7 now. Can I play just a6, b5? It's a sort of typical counterplay here for black, I think. This position is extremely complicated, of course. So white has a better control over the center, in my opinion. So more squares are controlled with pawns. That's my point. And for black, it's quite hard usually to find a counterplay. But I think if black wants to come up with a counterplay, this counterplay should be somehow related to this b6, b5. Well, it's not that easy to accomplish this b5. I have a feeling that it was interesting for white to occupy e5 square at some point, but well, what white does here is also quite playable. No questions. So knight to e4. What is going on? What will happen if I just play f5, forcing this knight back to c3? Oh, now I guess to d2 instead. Okay. So what is going on if I play bishop c6 here? Just exerting some pressure on a4 pawn. It is especially good after the knight went away from c3 square, so this pawn might be vulnerable in many cases. What about just playing a5 now? I know it looks strange, but this fixes a4, gives me a chance to play knight a6, knight b4 at some point, maybe even now. I have to be careful, of course, about white's d4 move, but I think I'm just all right here. Just control everything, more or less. Yeah, e4. It's better for me to keep position more or less closed, so I react with the b4. d4, yeah, now it becomes a mess. Now it becomes a mess. A real mess. If I take on d4, knight takes, that is annoying. Wow, that is annoying. Let's put the knight on f6. Yeah, I definitely underestimated his d4 move. Now my position is not good. Not good at all. Still, I have some tricks, so let's try to fight. To keep fighting. So white has very strong central pawns now. That is the key factor in this position. My only hope is that white will overestimate his advantage, and well, this will definitely give me some chances. I think it's just a mistake. Series 1. I mean my knight b4. Yeah, it was much better for white to play d6 trapping my bishop. Because now, yeah, I'm in exchange down, but I still have some chances. Don't know what to play, though. Let's try bishop g4. Yeah, position looks absolutely lost. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. What to do? I don't even know what to do. So let's just attack what is hanging. Maybe this will give us some chances. Okay, I have to connect my queen somehow to the queen side. No, to the king side, of course. My queen is already on the queen side. Oh, this looks like a great gift. Or maybe I was just too optimistic. Okay, intermediate check, of course. Yeah, that's still a very bad position. Still very, very bad position. Now d6 is hanging. I have some tricks connected with queen d8, queen g5 maybe. Yeah, but he parries everything. That's so lost. So lost. Hate my position. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is just finish. It's over. Yeah, absolutely lost. Okay. Very good game, very decent game. I made a lot of mistakes, of course. Maybe this f5 was too much. So weaken in the position. Yeah, that was really bad. But okay. That was an interesting game. So I guess one more, and I will go and grab some foods. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, the previous game f5 was definitely too much. It weakened too many squares, too many important points in my position, and bishop to g5. What's that? Okay, let's try c5. Active counterplay. Oh, really now? Okay, bishop e7. Doesn't look like white wants to occupy the center somehow, like d4, d5, so let's just complete development in a natural way. Bishop e7 castles. And the other question is what to do next. To take on d4 and to play d5, we'll have something very typical for Caro-Kann or yeah, Queen's Gambit accepted maybe, because inevitably the isolated pawn will arise. Or something like that. I don't know, let's try it. So cd4, let's say ed4, d5. What my opponent will do. c5 looks very promising now. The bishop f6 just gives up a bishop. It's not a good idea, I think. And cd5, ed5, okay. I think at very least black has no problems here already. d4 pawn should be attacked. Bishop g4, well, after h3 it leads to exchanges only, I think, because my d5 will be also bad. So I think it's better for me to occupy this passive position with the bishop, but at the same time to protect d5 pawn. So now what? To attack d4 with a queen b6 looks just a good plan for me. But first, I want to come up with some prophylaxis, so to limit the activity of the knight f3, to prevent this knight jump into g5 or something. And now, yes, I think I have to get to attack this d4 gradually. But if I play queen b6, he plays knight a4 and gets to c5. So maybe it will be my long-term plan. What would be my short-term plan? I don't really know what to do in this position. Knight a5, knight c4 looks interesting, but b3 at very least. b3 weakens position a bit. Or maybe it's even better for me just to find a better square for this guy. So d4 doesn't look like a great weakness in white's position. So I will try something like, yeah, this. If he plays a3, b4, he definitely grabs some space, but this also weakens some squares, especially c4. This might be a good spot for me in the future. However, I'm not sure that I'll get there easily. Okay, b4, bishop c7. If b5, then knight a5. This position should be something around equal, I think. But the fact that I have pair of bishops and my dark square bishop has no counterpart, I think, makes my position better long term. Bishop b8, knight b5 wasn't a good idea in my opinion. It was just one move threat. In fact, white simply lost the time for nonsense. And I gradually improved my position. Oh, let's take it with pleasure. That was a serious blunder. Maybe forced by the time trouble. And now just checkmate into decides the game. Yeah. Okay. Finishing the session with the checkmate. But in general, I'm not satisfied with the quality of my chess, to be honest. Maybe because I wasn't sleeping well this night. It happened. Maybe because I'm not in a good shape in general nowadays. So we'll see. So now, until I get back to 2700 plus, I will call all the episodes of this Learn from Chess Blitz on lichess, like getting back to 2700s. Okay, well, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will see the link very soon. Also, I offer you to follow my shows on Chess24, especially today. So late Friday night Banter Blitz, it is usually very fun and very instructive because I mainly focus on analyzing the games, right, rather than playing them. So I share my experience, I share a lot of interesting information. So constant followers just enjoy this show. Yeah, and if you want to, of course, just leave a challenge and well, to play with me during this show, so that your game will be analyzed quickly after that, so you will receive some guidance and so on. Well, for this purpose, you have to become a premium member of Chess24, and in this case, you will receive the access to all premium features, including premium shows like my Training Tuesday. Okay. Anyway, thanks for your attention. I think the quantity of live followers of each stream will increase from one time to another, and also the quality of my chats will increase, as well as the quality of the analysis. So see you next time. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.